Heroes win the flip. That's always a nice way to start the match. And we're looking at an opening grip of 2 lands with all of our colors. Primeval Titan, double Lotus Cobra, Explore and Mana Leak. Can't throw that one back. From the other side of the table, Halimar Depths gives us very little information. It can be Rug, it can be Blue-Red Control, it can be Turboland. I'm a little bit afraid of a Lightning Bolt here, so I'm just exploring to try to get land. My plan next turn is to play a Lotus Cobra and have Mana Leak back up. Mountain Preordain, it literally could still be anything. And by anything, I mean Rug, Blue-Red Control, well, Pyromancer Ascension now. We don't draw a land, so I'm a little worried about Pyromancer Ascension sitting back on Mana Leak, and my play is correct. For once, Mana Leak the Pyromancer Ascension. And he's just playing Preordains like they're nickels. This one he splits one top, one bottom. This is a little awkward. We draw a land, but it's a Seachrome Coast, our one Seachrome Coast. Comes into the battlefield tapped, so we can't actually play a Lotus Cobra and leave up Mana Leak mana. We top deck a Misty Rainforest here, which is obviously awesome with Lotus Cobras. I'm going to play Lotus Cobra and play the Misty Rainforest. Opponent responds to the Lightning Bolt. We're going to get double manas out of the Misty Rainforest before the Lightning Bolt resolves. And we have our choice. We could play a Jace the Mind Sculptor, but I'm actually just going to choose to play a Lotus Cobra with the mana that we got, and then hang back on Mana Leak mana. He's got another Lightning Bolt. We're obviously not going to fight that. We don't know what his deck is, and the worst thing is if he has a Jace the Mind Sculptor or something, we can't fight it. But he makes no play. On our turn, Jace the Mind Sculptor, he has the Mana Leak. He can pay for our Mana Leak, so we don't even try it. Looks like he's playing Draw Go. We're just going to go for it with Primeval Titan here. Let's see what happens. And he's got another Mana Leak. Oh well, some days. If the Titan had resolved, we'd be in a pretty good spot, but obviously we're tapped out and he's going to have a field day. 4C is his opening play, so he's going to go from 2 cards to 3 cards, but they're going to be all awesome cards, and the worst happens, he's got Pyromancer Ascension. Luminarch Ascension is kind of a lousy top deck here. I'm just going to run it out there, but I mean, his deck's full of Lightning Bolts. And there's one of them. That Lightning Bolt's actually a disaster. It powers up his Pyromancer Ascension and keeps a counter off of our Ascension. Ooh, they're both Ascensions. So I'm going to battle here. One of the only cards left that we can actually interact with Mana Leak on a one-to-one basis is Burst Lightning. So I gave him a 4 to shoot a Burst Lightning at, and we were able to snag him. So that didn't power up his Ascension. He's only got 1 card left. He top decks Halimar Depths. Nothing again, passes. We top deck a Sun Titan. That's pretty awesome. That can get back a land at least. Or Lotus Cobra, but he concedes. He actually told me he has 3 lands on top of his deck that he saw with the Halimar Depths. So obviously the Sun Titan and the man lands are going to kill him before he's going to be able to do anything. So for sideboarding against this deck, I'm not nearly as confident as I am with the regular Turboland deck I've been testing. This deck doesn't have Ratjet Bomb or Into the Royal, which are the main go-to cards against Pyromancer Ascension. Instead, I've got some counter spells. I'm going to bring those in. Cards I'm taking out are just cards that I don't want to see. I'm only bringing in 1 Flash Freeze because I'm not like a huge fan of counterspelling only the 1 red card. You don't get to have the same amount of flexibility as you do with destroying it after it's already resolved. So I'm just bringing in 1 Flash Freeze, and I never want to see Gideon, and I never want to see Luminarch Ascension in this matchup. Really. Okay, opening grips of Preordain and a Counterspell, which was a sideboard card. We can't really throw that back. It's only really terrible if he has a second turn Pyromancer. We're going to bluff Spell Pierce on the first turn. Well, we don't actually have a Spell Pierce, and he does actually have a Pyromancer Ascension. So this is kind of like a bad limited deck. You know, when your opponent puts down a threat and it's just going to stick there because you don't have a removal? That's a spot we're in. I'm going to use my negates to counter any kind of card drawing that he has. Just keep him off of being able to put counters on his Pyromancer Ascension. So theoretically, we can play an Explore here, but I'm just going to leave up double negate mana. So his play is a Preordain, and we just snap negate that. He only has 3 cards remaining and no counters on the Ascension. And speaking as someone who plays a lot of Pyromancer Ascension, this isn't really a great spot for him to be in. There's no doubt that he's in a superior position, having resolved Pyromancer Ascension already. In a Game 1 situation against a control deck, just resolving the Pyromancer Ascension is usually enough to win. Our plan is to use our counterspells, and there we just drew another counterspell, just to keep him off of using his scrying, of using his card drawing, to keep the counters off the Ascension. We use the Tectonic Edge there. It's not a strategic Tectonic Edge, just keeping him off being able to do multiple things per turn as well. So we get to run a Preordain, but it just got us a land. We shipped some mana, got a mana. But, Lotus Cobra's in. Bang, bang. So our Explore, which is basically a small card drawing spell, draws us into a Preordain. We explore with the land, get mana from Lotus Cobra to cast the Preordain. I do this all the time in testing, and every single time BDM goes crazy. He's not actually my opponent this time, I'm just saying he goes crazy. The Lotus Cobra is way too good for us not to save. In Game 1, we let him kill some Lotus Cobras, but right now he's our clock, and we've got a Primeval Titan, which means that we're going to have mad mana with a Lotus Cobra. And here's that Primeval Titan. He's got a counterspell. We've got a counterspell. So this Mana Leak's going to be our last card in hand, but we have an active Primeval Titan. He has no counters on his Ascension. With all of our man lands, we should be able to kill him pretty quickly. So speaking of the man lands, we're going to use the mana that we get with the Lotus Cobra from the Primeval Titan to activate one of them, smash in for 5. That's going to put him to 13 on a really, really tight clock right now. We searched up Misty Rainforest, actually, with the Primeval Titan. That's entirely designed to be able to activate man lands next turn. Alamar Depths is Sage Owl of Doom, and good guys get it again. Which is not to say that Pyromancer Ascension is the bad guys. Despite being a filthy combo deck, Pyromancer Ascension is actually also the good guys. I know it's surprising. Anyway, I hope you liked this video. It was really fun for me to make it. More details in this case are going to be up on my column on TCG Player.